Good afternoon, Scott Redler, T3 Live. I'm just going to do a quick little update on the trade in Apple. Everyone knows that everyone approaches Apple on different time frames. Some people are macro equity investors and they've been doing very well holding this stock. Some people trade the intermediate time frame. Some actually who don't take risk overnight have to approach it every single day and they have to figure out how to get in and get out. By this time, everyone knows that the news with Samsung, how they had a sweeping victory and blah, blah, blah. P.S. The question is, can you have profited from it and how are you trading it? As far as being a macro equity investor, you're in great shape. You opened up, stock was above 52-week highs, above 675, and the question was, did you want to trim some and trail it, or just sit tight and go along for the ride? If you're an intermediate trend trader, you've been doing really well the past, I would say, 2-3 weeks ever since the earnings. You've had great action. It gapped down, filled the gap, showed power, and then today, if you came in flat, you probably were a little PI, you know what, because you're like, oh my goodness, I don't own any Apple. It's up $13, $14 pre-market, or even more. How do I make money? And there's an art to all of this. If you take a look at the chart of Apple, you will see that today the stock opened up, at historic highs. Congratulations to every macro equity investor. If you're in there, you're doing really well. You're making a lot of money. As you know, in an intermediate time frame, this is when most guys got involved when it started to get into this gap post earnings, or even when it held the gap after its powerful move. And since then, you've had a methodical move to the highs. Last buy price right around here at 644, powered through. Remember on that Friday, gave you another day, and then gave you a rest day, a day to switch some gears and see if it could hold above 644, which it did. And then, we saw the action late last week. We're still strong above the 8-day, above the 21. And then, today you gapped up. Everyone in all the media, everyone's excited, everyone's ranting and raving, but it was actually a better sell than buy in the first 15 minutes. And that's why you have to know how to approach this on an intraday basis. You go quickly to your 5-minute time frame, and you will see that, right here, here's your gap up. That's why you never chase excitement. You never buy in the first 5 to minutes, only for a short period of time, if that. And now what you do is you have another point of reference. It did go real quickly below the prior high, just to get some people out. It did break below this, the 674.88 or 675 real quickly, but came back above. And now, actually, as I'm talking, it still hasn't made any traction since the open. So as an intraday trader, guys are probably long this small, saying I'll give it to this support level around 675.80, or maybe the low of the day. But for right now, the action still looks good on a daily. If you're an Apple bear, you're trying to say, oh, this was an exhaustion gap. It gapped up. Obviously we have to see how it closes. If it closes on the lows, maybe that's a sign that it couldn't hold the momentum. But as of right now, I think the action is still great. I still think you can make money. If you sold some on the open, great. I sold out of my swing. I sold out of my cash flow. And right now, I'm in small. Very small right now, and I would say at this point, if you're an intraday trader, guys will probably look to short if we break below the 675.80 area to retest the morning low. And if it doesn't and goes sideways, I would think guys would be looking to add if we broke above, just say this 678 and change. So right now, I'm in a feeler. It's been a great ride. We break below this. I'll probably get flat, see how we test this area. And then at the end of the day, in the recap, I'll talk about what happened here if we were able to hold the majority of this gap, or it just became one big range after big news. Because if you look, digestion is healthy, and this has had a huge move since the open from that, from the earnings. And at this particular point, a little digestion would be fine. The key is just know your time frame, know how you approach it. As an equity macro investor, you're doing great. As an intermediate trend trader, if you take risk overnight, if you took it on Friday when I tweeted about it, you deserve to get paid. If you don't take risk, you can't come in today upset because you had nothing on. And at this particular point, we'll see how it closes so we could monitor and measure the action of the next few days to see if there's any opportunity. Scott Redler, T3 Live, the Apple update. I'll see you at the recap.